So Sonic 2 came out this weekend, and I've never been more excited for a movie. And that's kind of a lie, but I'm still excited. I'm a huge Sonic fan, I have a lot of the games, my friend gave me this cool Sonic painting, and I have an actual hedgehog named Sonic. Does this movie live up to the hype? Before I talk about it, I want to briefly talk about the first movie. Sonic 1 is fine. I've never been the biggest fan of this movie because I have one big problem. It doesn't really feel like a Sonic movie. Like, Sonic is the fastest thing in the world, so his first theatrical movie is a road trip. I'm not offended by it or anything, I just think it'd be cooler for a more traditional Sonic story. It also doesn't help that the human stuff is really boring. I don't particularly care for Donut Lord or Wife. The only human characters I liked were Eggman and Stone because they're the best couple you could ask for. But there's a lot of sexual tension, and the movie did come on Valentine's Day. Probably knew what they were doing. But I only liked them because they were interesting or bland pieces of toast. Other than that, it's a fun movie, like 6 out of 10, I guess. But when trailers for Sonic 2 came out, it seemed as they were promised that it'd be a more faithful story to the games. Did they fulfill this promise? Yes. First and foremost, this movie is absolutely bonkers. There'd be times in theater where I'd just be trying hard not to burst out laughing. From a combination of genuinely funny moments, or me leaning over to my friends and saying every character was Morbius, hashtag Morbius sweep, I was just constantly having a good time with this movie. The plot of the last hour just kicks it up to 20 for no reason, that's when things get great. People say that human stuff and this is even worse than the first movie. I'd agree except for one subplot that lasts for like 20 minutes. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It comes out of nowhere and has nothing to do with Sonic, it just works with how insane it is. I turned to my friends in utter shock and they were just as confused as I was. Absolute cinema. Something that took me by surprise though was how good the cinematography was. There were so many cool shots and they were just awesome to look at. The action scenes are also really cool. The fight scene between Sonic and Knuckles had no right to be that epic. Speaking of Knuckles, I really liked his character. He was cool and funny at the same time. He's not just a big dumb idiot, which I really was scared he would be. The games have been betraying him as such, so it's really nice for them to avoid that problem. That goes for Tails too. Recent Sonic games have had Tails not engaging in any action because he's scared for some reason. In the movie, he's right there in the action, I love that. The voice actors are also doing a great job. It goes for Ben Schwartz too. Idris Elba really sells that Knuckles is broken, but also accidentally hilarious. It's super cool that they got Colleen Schwanesi to voice Tails because she voices Tails in the games. I do have some complaints though. Not all the human stuff works for me, and they spend a little too much time on it. Some of the CGI is laughably bad, and not every joke landed, but comedy's subjective, so maybe you'll like it. So if you just want to watch a solid adventure movie that turned into a fever dream in the last hour, I'd watch this movie. 8 out of 10, thanks for watching.